first thing that we need to understand is them wanting to close their room door or lock it is not rebelling. They are developing autonomy, and this may just be the beginning of that. So here's what our stance was when our girls were teenagers. They were allowed to close their door, but they were not allowed to lock it. But for this rule to work and for the girls to be okay with it, we never entered their room without knocking, and we waited for their permission. Ours was a nuclear family, so if there are many people and they're just going to barge in, then the rules can be different. But what worked for us is this, and how we made it work is to build that trust. Now, here's why fully locking the door for a 13-year-old may not be the ideal decision. Our 13-year-olds still need supervision. Their impulse control is not yet developed. And because of this, their choices may not be safe choices for them. The best approach is the middle way, and we call this as a structured privacy. And this middle way is really like the Buddha's middle way, where we're not swinging like a pendulum on either side, where we give too much privacy and do what you want and no questions asked, or we're so rigid that we say, no, you cannot close your door, you cannot have your time by yourself, I need to know everything that you're doing. So this is the middle way. You can lock your room, but you must respond when I call. And if there are calls being ignored, then we pause this privacy that's been given. Or we can say you don't lock your door during certain times, for example, while doing homework, while watching TV, while being on the screen. And we must have an emergency rule that parents have the permission to enter when there is a safety concern. The closing the door or the locking becomes a concern if the isolation is constant and always. If the child's moods and behaviors are changing and concerning. If the communication lines have completely stopped, and if your teen becomes very aggressive when you ask one very simple question, then we need to raise a red flag and become curious as to what is happening behind those closed doors. Otherwise, it's a normal part of growing independence. When teens feel more respected, they are less likely to misuse the privacy that is given to them.